Oh, bother.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Power and Politics Season 2. In our last episode, we were so foolish as to believe that Rome could finally know some measure of peace, and that peace was immediately shaken to its core in the attack on Patavium. We had a revolution, so to speak, or an attempted revolution attack Patavium, and they in fact sacked it. But, as always, our loyal subjects to the north came down and dealt with the problem for us. What they didn't do, or what they should have done, was brace themselves for attack from the north. However, that being said, it does look like things are working out in their favor. Byzantium, the capital of the Sequanii, is under siege, and it looks like we might not even have to get involved. That said, we are going to have to keep an eye on our friends, the Helvetii, just because, well, we don't want anybody growing too big to control. Now, in the west, things are still tense. We have an enemy army, well, I shouldn't say an enemy, a now neutral army of the Editani sitting on our border. However, they should have their hands pretty full, so I'm not going to worry about them too much. Our true challenge is going to be our newest enemy in the south, the Massieli. Massesili? You know that I struggle with some of these names, guys. But our enemies in Africa have decided that it is time to make their move, and finally we're going to have to finally do something to end the Aravici in the northeast. So that is the situation that we are looking at right now. First thing that we're going to do is go ahead and actually start making our move on the Aravici. Now, I don't want to go too far up in case we get stranded without backup. However, let's go just far enough to build a fortress. Well, little bit too far. So what we'll do is we'll back up and take position at the river crossing. That ought to give the fourth some time to catch up and, back us up should we need it. I don't think that I don't think that our auxilia, especially the third auxilia, is going to need any backup. However, they could very well end up in a situation that we don't want them to be in. Now, it does appear that it's time for the first to head to, the second auxilia to head to Cisalpina, where they're from. They're going to be guarding Medlon for us. And the first will finally return to Rome. Since the situation does appear to be well in hand up in the north, we're going to send the second down to Carthage to assist. So they'll be sailing out of Lilybaeum straight into Carthage. Hopefully they will arrive in time to help the House Papiria defend their small territory. Speaking of, we have started recruiting for the House Papiria, and they'll finally join the board as a full-fledged faction with, actual armies. So, all of that being said, let's go ahead and end this turn. Now, as I said in my video yesterday, if you had time to watch it, I appreciate it. If you didn't, I'll go ahead and let you know here. What I'm going to be doing, instead of rolling through the end turns, I'm going to cut it right here, and that way you guys don't have to watch the AI sit around and make moves while we do nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this intern button, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, and jumping back in, the Sequani want peace. I'm not going to give them peace. They're about to die anyway. What would be the point? And we are back. So, let's see. We've got some moves to make. Come on down from Lilibam. We don't need a new army just yet. What we do need is some more troops. I think that these guys could definitely use some actual hardened legionnaires just as the core of their force, since they're primarily auxilia. So let's give them... We'll give them 2 units of tree. Well, nope, that's too expensive, clearly. We'll give them a couple units of Principes. And then... Oh, I can only afford 1 unit of cavalry. So we'll give them another unit of cavalry next turn, and that will make up the core of their force. Meanwhile, the auxilia will fluff out the rest. We do have 4 turns until we can get an auxiliary barracks. Maybe we'll hold off on the cavalry until then. But I will keep the legionnaires, or excuse me, the Principes, as they still are right now, waiting in the wings. See what else we can do with our economy to get it back on track. Or, well, I should say it's pretty healthy, but I really want it to boom. Want to be making at least 5 grand a turn, if at all possible. Time to go see what the Sequani actually have, and it looks like the Suebi actually took care of them for us. So, faction destroyed. The Aravici are done. So, I guess the 3rd Auxilia can go ahead and pull back to Akink, and the 4th can relocate back to Singaduin, where they came from. Now the real question lies in where we're going to really push out next. It looks like Pergamon is really striking down. They've taken out Athena. Wow. Or not Athena, Athenae. Athens has fallen to Pergamon. I wonder what the situation is between them and Sparta. Looks like they like each other. Athens is all alone up there. They're probably going to die in Macedon with no home to return to. That's unfortunate. We'll have to keep an eye on Pergamon. They are an unknown to us, and almost wish that we would have teamed up with Athens to really, you know, make them the dominant power. But didn't see that in time, so it is what it is, unfortunately. This game's not quite as dynamic with the diplomacy as even Warhammer.
Commander.
And only 3 more turns until we can upgrade our troops. So let's go ahead and hit that intern button, and I'll see you on the other side. Oh, of course.
Ever in service to Rome.
Okay, so we've got a new scenario going on with the Domina. This woman has proven herself quite capable of organizing labor in her family's large household. She is ambitious and tolerates no idle hands, and produces the finest olive oil. We could employ her to help her plan our agricultural developments. Alternatively, we could delegate that issue to other noble families and perhaps gain their favor. So we could get we could get an important character, and I think that that's really cool. And since we're doing pretty well on the loyalty front, at least to my knowledge we are, I'm going to go ahead and hire her. Hopefully she's not too old. We can get her married and, you know, keep the family going. Appius Helvetius Bibaculus has died. Now, I don't remember who that is. He wasn't in the army. But he has passed on. I'll have to figure out who exactly that was. Now let's take a look at our politics, see who's got any power. House Papiria is starting to not be infatuated with us anymore. And House Julia is a little upset with how many barbarians we've made pacts with. So that's not good. I wonder, the Empire gives you plus 15 loyalty. Yeah, that's what I thought. So there are going to be people who I don't want to take to the Empire with me. I'm starting to worry that House Julia doesn't belong there, just to be honest. House Papiria is always the one that I don't like to keep around. But this deal with them hating barbarians is causing us issues. I mean, we have another risk of secession, so that's not good. Let's see what we can do to avert that. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to change this to party loyalty. And then let's see if we can give one of them a promotion. No free ones. We could promote him to Quester. So let's do that. That's a pretty cheap promotion. Speaking of promotions, I think Varus deserves to be a Quester as well. Kester, I think is how you say it. And that's where it gets too expensive. If any of you know, like, how you even have a general long enough to really secure him all the way up the line to, like, censor? How? Because it seems like a great thing, but it also kind of seems like a waste because the characters come and go so quickly. You don't even have any illegitimate children? Come on, Faustus. I keep doing that.
Come, fight for Rome. Are you ready to serve Rome?
I think what we can do is go with 3 of those. Actually, we'll wait. Because when we get auxiliary barracks, we can start bringing in actual archers, and that'll be good for us. Or we can use the auxiliary Numidians They're really good at missiles.
It is an honor to serve Rome.
Okay, the Legion has arrived. Obviously, we're not going to combine them.
The ship cannot go there.
And I think what we're going to do is strike for Eel and then follow up by hitting Dimity, while the first Auxilia is going to focus on moving towards Sedamus. So we're going to need to go ahead and pull our fleet down. That way Carthage has some kind of protection.
At your command. Ready for orders.
And I don't think that this is going to require more than the armies on hand. If it does, then I'll obviously just have to admit that I was wrong. But hopefully not. Let's see what we can do to upgrade Italy itself, or Italia itself. No, an auxiliary barracks isn't really going to help us here. Yeah, it literally does nothing new for us. That would be a waste of money. Let's go with the... We could do a missile trireme. Or excuse me, we could do the docks and get missile triremes. But we're all about expanding the economy right now. That's not really going to help us that much. Well, I think it might help us a little bit more. No, the theater will help us more. So we'll go with that. And that will be it for this turn. We're actually really trucking through some turns this time. And believe it or not, we're over 100 turns in. I can't remember exactly how many, but we are moving and grooving through this series. So. And we have another fallen family member. Hopefully that's not hurting us too much on the influence front. I'll have to take a look at that real quick. Cohort organization. When every man knows his place and his duties, all are strengthened. Fantastic. So before we get started with that, got some more influence and 10 loyalty for each of the parties. Fantastic. Now that we've got this, let's focus on getting... Could focus on getting the central grain warehouse and finishing up part 2 of Siege, but instead, let's do something... Philosophy. Philosophy will work. Plus 4% tax rate, plus 2 public order to all provinces. We could definitely use that. And we'll be closing up Philosophy 2, getting a minus 3% corruption. I've never really known that to help very much, but hey, what do I know?
We hunger for battle. We hunger for battle. Ready for orders. Make haste.
All right, so they're going to keep marching into enemy territory.
At ease, men.
Hopefully that's not too foolish. And the first is going to get the first of the retrainings. So let's do that. Oh, look at them. We got the legions. You guys don't get retrained. Do you get retrained? No. Not until we get to the next one.
Ready for
I can't wait to see these guys in action. Tempting to go ahead and upgrade all these guys. but we're gonna wait. Could go ahead and give the 3rd Legion their retraining as well. Be 1,200. But let's focus on economy. Keep that going, because it's going to hurt us to move into the actual legions. So let's keep it focused down here. Looks like we can't afford the trader right now. Could afford an auxiliary camp, but that's not really necessary right this second. I think Cisalpina could use a shrine to Vulcan. You know, they're mountain folk. And that's going to help us with our wealth from industry, which we've got 2 sources of industry here. I want to say that the glassblower is also industry, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it is.
At your command.
All right, and I just wanted to show you guys it's kind of hard to even imagine that they want peace, but I guess, you know, just like their non-aggression pacts, which were on again, off again, they don't really know what they want at all. But they declared war on us, and we sent our war dog after him. He's not gonna quit, so we're not gonna quit either.
Your lack of
All right, and we're back with a fallen leader down in Africa. House Papiria has lost a son, or a father, I guess in this case. He was pretty old. So we're going to, of course, reinstate a new member of House Papiria. We're going to give him just general and bodyguard. If you're ever wondering why I don't use these guys, it's because, well, they're just too out of touch. It's just units that I don't really feel like are appropriate, or at least for the time period that we're sitting in right now. So I'm going to keep it with the general and bodyguard. Hopefully you guys don't hate that. As your power increases, so does the need to develop your military capabilities and civic infrastructure, which is of greater importance to your people. Right now, we're doing civil, so we're going to go with civil. It only helps you for 4 turns, so it doesn't really do much. All right. And he has fallen, but he fell to old age, so whatever. A child is born. Oh, Falsus. No, that's a girl, and she's 2 years old. Oh, Virus, good job. Good for you, man. Now, I've never really understood the naming structure in, well, in Rome. Like, is the middle name their actual family name? Because we're all of the House Cornelia, so that's where I get confused. Like, Costa, Aetus, and then he's Aeneas. But then his son's Aeneas, so why wasn't he Aetus? Or Aetius? I don't understand. You guys let me know if you really understand how that works. It's kind of funny that we're going with the out of wedlock branch for the family leadership. But hey, it is what it is. We can go ahead and give her a promotion at least. Alright, and this new guy, we're going to get him a promotion too. That's going to help secure their loyalty. Let's see the politics of it all. They're not loving us. I'm not sure why exactly. They're pacifists? When did that happen? Oh, their new leader is a pacifist. Well, fantastic. We love that. Oh, he's about to die. Who cares?
Ready for orders.
Let's go ahead and attack. How are you going to be a military leader and a pacifist? This is going to be ugly. But the Second Legion doesn't know how to quit, and we're going to attack it anyway. I'll see you on the battlefield.
Men, I have taken the advice of the seers and oracles and brought you to this place for battle. I now give you over into the care of the gods, who will grant us victory against our vile foes. Make ready.
All right. And into the hands of the gods we go. So the Legion's plan is to move in and seize advantage of them being bottlenecked in there. However, the Numidian army has other plans in mind, and we're going to have to adapt to their plan. You don't usually see the enemy just sally out like this, but it's certainly an interesting tactic, and I'm all for it.
Double! At the double! Hey! Cohort karate! Quick march! Double
They have
time!
decided not to utilize their city, knowing that it would limit their mobility, and they really want to be able to outmaneuver us. That is a, it's a valid strategy, for sure.
At the double!
Something you don't usually expect from a Total War AI, a valid strategy. Realizing its own weaknesses. But hey, like I said, I'm all for it. The engagement has begun. And this is primarily going to be missile engagements. Because, well, of course, they brought a ton of missile units. And you can see as they attempt to swarm and surround us, coming in with those camel cataphracts. And committing their cavalry was their biggest mistake.
Advance at speed!
Here comes our general. Now that our cavalry is freed up to not be reactive to their missile cavalry,
At ease, men!
that is all she wrote. Their infantry do not stand up to good Roman might. Even though some of them are slightly better armored than us. The bad thing about bringing so much, I hate to call them chaff, but, you know, so many lightly armored and easy to run down units is once you begin a mass rout, it doesn't matter how much armor these other guys have. Look at them flee.
Engage!
And the last vestiges of their infantry are being completely surrounded by our infantry. And we'll end things on watching the Hastati in their final engagement before they become legionnaires. And there they go, folks. This battle is going to be coming to a close, but I will let you guys see us run them down for just a bit before I close things out. But I will see you back out on the campaign map to end the episode. And talk about a hell of a sign-off for the Hastati and Principes. That was a fantastic battle. The first big battle of this war, and we have won hands down. But as you can see, they are moving east. Looks like they're planning to attack Thapsus, and we are not ready for that. So, go ahead and occupy Eel. And we're going to call this an episode. I think that battle was a wonderful way to leave off and start our weekend. So, to all my friends, wherever you are, good morning, good evening, and good night. I'll see you back for Power and Politics on Monday.
Oh, bother.